come one, come all, nothing but love, nothing but respect. You know what we do, what we don't, what we is, what we isn't, and what we is here today, bring you guys and girls One Piece chapter 1136 live reaction. The country that awaits the sun. I can already see that we got Charles, we got Nephilim, we got plenty of beautiful people already popping in. So hello for those of you watching over on YouTube. Hello for those of you watching over on TikTok. Hello, it's good to see you. Burbo, aka Bogart, you do know I owe you a Bogart theory, and I said I was gonna do it for the 1st of January. I'm 18 days late, so I tell you what, I actually I'm gonna pull a Bogart theory out my ass specifically for you, brother. Believe me, I know that I'm aware that I owe you some. All right, but that being said, we are going to be picking up the greatness that is One Piece. Nephilim, do Australians eat kangaroos? Yes, we eat kangaroos. They're very gamey. Did I answer the question? Yes, I did. I just answered it then. Yeah, okay. Let's get into the greatness. Hold up. Oh, I've just been asked for something. Hold up. Alrighty. Oh, and we got a new subscriber. Yo, thank you, beautiful people. Alright, sorry. I'm getting hit with messages and that. It's this time of year. I've also, in my Discord today, if you guys and girls don't know, got a Discord. The link is in my bio on TikTok or in the description over on YouTube. Zay, yo, hello, my dude. So yeah, in the Discord, I announced today that we're going to be going into the top 50 streams soon, so everyone's welcome to join in and participate. I do a yearly set of streams where everyone's able to give their top 50 strongest One Piece characters lists, so just be aware that that's going to be coming up. If you want more information about that, check out the Discord. That being said, let's pick up with this chapter. The country that awaits the sun. Oni, Child, Yamato, and the Holy Inari Shrine Pilgrimage Volume 22, a mysterious hidden base in Udon. Who's who? This is clearly a who's who's building, but a funny bait and switch would be if one of the other Tobiropo has taken over who's building. But it also makes sense because Who's Who was seemingly the strongest. He had the highest bounty out of the Tobiropo, so it makes sense that he would try to become the de facto leader. Or maybe they're going to be like, you know, warring daimos trying to like battle over supremacy here, and Hold'em just happens to be under Who's Who specifically. I'll be really interested to see this as well. Tim, yes, I am also live over on YouTube, my friend. We can see here though that they've made it here. Not Otama. Well, I mean, Otama did hit the living shit out of him, and I actually... Is that Otama behind Speed? I can't really see Otama here. She did get kidnapped, to be fair. But, Hold'em has been beaten up and, dragged back over here. And we're picking up back in Elbaf. Ooh, you know I'm excited. It's so tasty. Even the meat is huge. This moose reminds me of dinosaur meat. They're quite tricky to catch, as ferocious as they are, delicious. Yo, look at Mountbeard. The sword really, like, you can see the back end of it on the other side. He really does have the blade going clean through the dome. No task is too great if it's for one. No task is too great if it's for one's savior. Brethren, you all look like tiny giants. They really are halving the size of the giants every single generation. Hydrogen looks like a toddler. Genuinely. Yo. Yo, hey Tim, I see you over on the YouTube now. Hello, all my beautiful friends. I love the jumping in between. Yo. Far out, the giant, like, it actually is kind of crazy how varied the giants are in heights. I appreciate it, Hydrogen Stanson. Dear Gaga, glad you like it. It's rare for humans to make it all the way up to the Sun Realm. Most confuse the underworld for Elbaf proper and flee before they find their way up here. That's interesting. Listen up. The mighty Oz was a warrior, legendary even to you giants. He would tower over any of you 3 times over. And guess who finally finished him? That's right. It was me! Yo, Usopp coming through with the "It's me, Barry, it's me!" Woo, way to go, Captain Usopp. Wow, your skin really is blue. Oh, yo, wait, have they... Oh, they've never seen a fishman. You should see Fishman Island. There's as many skin tones as there are fish in the sea. I've always wanted to see a mermaid. No shame in that. They're a sight to behold. Mermaid Cove is more enticing than heaven itself. Yo, Did Sanji dip? Maybe it's just the angle. Did Sanji just dip on his Elbaf gear? He almost no, he's destroyed it. He's destroyed it. I'm getting too ahead of myself, right? I know he's destroyed his raid suit. We're not going to see the raid suit again. Why does it look like this man's back in the raid suit doing the T-poses? Whoa, that said, my heart soars just as much when I see you giant ladies. Oh, Sanji-kun, you're so silly, it's cute. Yo, this may be the best chance he has of getting it in, I ain't gonna lie. Woo. Beautifuls. Beauties everywhere. Look. I'm getting buried in babes. Yo, this is the best moment in Sanji's entire life. It's all downhill from here. He's never gonna have another uphill moment. This is the plateau. All downhill from here. Namitaso, I want to apologize to you for this under straw hat about before. He ain't gonna be forgiven that easily, but beating a proper apology out of him was the least we could do. Gotasso's sadistic side really makes my heart flutter. Don't sweat it. It's not like anyone died, although that's only cause Usopp stopped me. If he didn't, it would have been your head. Chef kiss. Yo, hey Drac, how you going, man? Yo, this man Zora really said, I fought with Killer. I've now learnt the beheading clause. I was coming for you. Yo, but honestly though, I get it's his mask. Why does Zoro's nose look so fucking wide here with the mask on? Like, it looks like a whole different character. Huh? Dah! Road ya. Don't tell me you picked a fight without checking their current bounties. You never stood a chance. Oda bringing it back to a little bit, just a little bit, of bounty scaling. Good to see it. Don't hold back next time. Good, Tasso! She's so harsh. I can't get enough. Honestly, though, it's between Gerd and Ripley for the giant babe so far. Come on, everyone. Everyone born here on Elbaf shares the same dream to become the next sun god and rule the world. Sun god? Are you kidding me? The sun god isn't a ruler. That's right. He's the god of liberation. More like destruction. You're wrong. Everyone knows he was the god of laughter. It's getting rowdy. So there isn't a clear mythology on Nika. That's interesting. I was saying that too. It's the angel. Oh, it's the angle. Yeah. Okay, yeah. It's the angle for it. Yeah. Dude, all right. So everyone, okay, there is no clear, concise mythology for Nika. So some say he's a liberator, some say he's a destroyer, some say he's about laughter. They're similar, but there is some distinctions there. It's getting rowdy. What's this about a god? The sacred Harley The sacred Harley texts have been passed down for generations in Elbaf. The legends are written in an archaic language, so there have been countless interpretations. No one can say for sure which translation is accurate, and this is the result, according to the Harley texts. So the Harley texts are probably the giant words for poneglyphs, which probably means the Harley texts. Harley is probably actually the more accurate word instead of poneglyph, probably relating to the Kozuki that wrote them. That is really interesting. That is actually ridiculously interesting. The Giants talking about One Piece. Yeah, the Giants talking about Nika are just One Piece fans. 100%. No one can agree on what it is. It's like, my out of context statement means this. Well, my out of context statement means this. Honestly, I hate to say it. As a ride or die One Piece fan, I know for a fucking fact that that's what's happening. No one can say. Oh wait. The legends are written in an archaic. I read that. No one can say for sure which translation is accurate, and this is the result. According to the Harley text, the world has already been destroyed twice before. That goes with my idea that Joy Boy and Nika are two separate people. So, Joy Boy was the last Nika before Luffy. Before that, again, there's probably another mythology telling that same story in threes, that same rhyming in threes. And the name of the sun god Nika is involved after each instance. Nika? Who can say if he was the world's savior or the great destroyer who brought it crashing down? All we know for sure is that he heralds great change. That's why the rulers of the day always tend to fear Nika's return. Nika. That's the guy Bonnie mentioned, yes. The sun god has become a symbol. Someone the hopeless and desperate turn to for salvation. They see Nika is adorned by white clouds with white hair and white clothes to boot. And he is said to have a contagious, booming laugh. Okay, and they're making direct eye contact now. No wonder everyone's been saying I look similar. But I'm sure he's got nothing to do with me. Perfect. Again, going with the idea that even though Luffy's learning this mythology, right, he's saying his own guy. He's not. This isn't the arc where he finds out, oh, I'm Nika and I can do anything I can imagine. He's always going to be Luffy. That's the way it's been. That's the way it's always going to be. I love to see it. Right? Don't be so dismissive, Straw Hat. You understand if you were born on Elbaf. We all look up to Nika. Not to defend Rodo, but he wasn't lying about us all sharing the same dream, huh? Loki was the same. I believe his motive for Harold's murder was his attempt to follow in Nika's footsteps. Nothing can justify what he did, Elder. I bet Mount Beard is a traditionalist. And I said this in the past as well, right? Mount Beard's a traditionalist. Elbaf is for warriors. Harold was trying to educate and bring the people to a peaceful era. Anti-traditionalist. Loki grew up ridiculously strong like Odin, loving the fables and the legends of the giants. So my bet is he grew up looking up to Mount Beard and Fallbeard, maybe even Oars, right? And what ended up happening is when his father went for peace, he saw his country going away from their religion. And so he unalived his father, thinking that he had to stop the course of change before it essentially neutered the giants. Loki. So he's a good guy. No way in hell! Yo, they were straight on that. Even the old ladies. He's the accursed prince. There was a prophecy before Loki was born that foretold that King Harold would be slain by his son. So, there is a fortune teller on this island. There is someone that can see the future. That's interesting. That is very interesting. The prophecy, right? So it's like Madame Charlet or Basil Hawkins. They have a soothsayer on the island, someone with advanced enough future sight to be able to predict the king's death. That is interesting. I wonder if they're going to be very old and feeble and sort of play up, the fates from like Greek mythology sort of thing. Even though this is more Norse mythology, it'd be very interesting to see what they do for that. Shortly after his birth, the royal steed, the horse of fortune died. That was the same year that Linlin murdered the legendary hero Jorul. And the tragedies kept coming. A year later, the queen herself passed. The princeling would go on to use his natural strength to make the realm of the dead his own personal playground. He killed many of those ferocious beasts and tamed the rest. He even released a few into the villages. And that was all by the age of 10. They really are giving him the Odin treatment. I love that. I definitely love that. He was an arsonist. Loki's mischief endangered countless lives. So he's doing the laughing, trying to do the sun god pose. So again, as the god of the sun, he thinks burning down places and that, and he's taking the piss out of it. He's laughing. That's very different to the Loki we kind of see tied up. And look at him here. He is a string bean back then. He's a skinny fella. He's a tiny dude. He had the authority of a prince and the malice personality. He caused hell wherever the king wasn't looking. Then finally, in that very castle, Loki killed King Harold, the greatest monarch Elbaf ever knew. Nah, you ain't gonna slip that past. Like you're not showing what you're showing there. That's Conqueror's Haki over the father. But that looks like his funeral or maybe a painting. No, he's standing. A splendid wise man who tried to connect with the outside world, to get people to see beyond Elbaf's feared reputation as a land of warriors. Look at him here. Call me skeptic, right? When in One Piece, I never trust dudes with pointy shit coming off them. Dudes with pointy shit coming off them, typically, dickheads, right? Looking at him here, he's a big, burly dude. Got a feeling, because I can see some sharp-ass ears and a bald head, I got a feeling he looks like a biker mixed with like an orc or an elf, right? But look at his sword, where he's got his hands... Hold up. I got visuals for this. Where he's got his sword, where he's doing this one, right? In that panel there. Look at the bottom of the sword. You see two blasts of Conqueror's Haki going off to the right side of the page, right? Now, in this scene, it looks like he's got a curtain in front of him. Oh, God. In this scene, it looks like he's got a curtain. There we go. Looks like he's got a curtain in front of him, veiling him, right? So is that Conqueror's Haki coming off the tip of his blade? Or is that him laying down, or in his, like, funeral coffin sort of thing? And that's Loki's Conqueror's Haki as he's, like, encroaching on him. There's no Conqueror's Haki? You don't see the Conqueror's Haki? Charon, open your eyes, brother. You think it's a painting and it's fallen down? You can't see the black blasts coming off it? There's some very clear black blasts coming off this thing. And we know it's not on the painting because it's going over it. To get people to see beyond Elbaf's feared reputation as a land of warriors, Lord Jarl was stabbed trying to stop Loki. My helmet saved me in the end. It didn't save anything. It definitely looks like a painting that fell. It looks like a painting that's on the wall, or, realistically, what it actually... Okay, Karen. I understand the idea that it's a painting. There's definitely Conqueror's Haki in front of it, and there's also a veil in front of it. But you can see up the top of the panel above the writing, right? You can see the brick wall, you see the pillar, right? So what it actually looks like is King Harold standing with his blade in front of a mirror, right? In front of a mirror with the veil in front of it, which are like a lot of old traditional castles have. Right? So, like, you know the stereotypical, like, there's, like, a throne room and the big chair? A lot of traditional castles, right? They used to have a mirror behind the king. Right? To just, like, make the castle look like it was never ending. Like a vastness. Right? It was like it was a visual perception thing, right? It looks like he's standing there. There's the veil in front of him so people can't see him directly on some, Wizard of Oz shit. Right? Standing there. But in front of it, because you see it coming off the blade and off from his waist. So there's like a blast of Haki coming, but it's coming from off panel. I dare say we're going to get this exact same scene. Maybe not this chapter. We're going to get this exact same scene in we're going to get this exact same scene in a flashback with Loki, and you're going to recontextualize it. I'm going to say Loki either didn't kill him or Harold asked Loki to kill him. Right? And that Conqueror's Haki there, I don't necessarily know if it's coming from Harold or if it's actually maybe coming from Loki off panel in that same scene, and that's just sort of a flashback. I'm gonna put a pin on it. Put a pin on it. We'll come back to this because you guys know, right? This stream's live. You can come back to this. Tell me if I'm going crazy on it later on. Keep it kicking though. Loki's reign of terror finally came to an end 6 years ago, when he was running amok at sea when Redhair captured him. Shanks. Okay, so we get confirmation that Shanks captured him. I mean, everyone and their mum believed that this is why Shanks became a Yonko, right? Because he mysteriously became a Yonko overnight 6 years ago. Him having taken out the scourge of Elbaf makes perfect sense. Shanks really came here? Yeah, in fact, he was just here earlier. I'm not sure where he went off to, though. And Zoro's off thinking. Yo. From my eyes, it looks like he's sitting on his throne and the picture's broken. I will go live later on, or do a video later on. I'll show you on close-up from what I'm looking at, right? Village outskirts. I thought you were acting weirdly on edge earlier. That explains it. You realize he's a reviled Kingslayer, right? Everything he told you was obviously a lie. He said he knew where Shanks was! Do you have any idea how badly I want to see him again? Yes, I've heard about it 1,000 times. Okay. I'm hitting this straight up. If Luffy wants to see Shanks, they're gonna fight. If Shanks wants to see Luffy, they're not gonna fight. That is a very, very key distinction here. Right? Yes, I heard about it 1,000 times. Sounds to me like he was using that to trick you. How would you know? You've never met Loki yourself. I haven't. I'm just guessing based on his reputation. I'll tell you everything I know. That includes Redhair's current whereabouts. If that was really a lie, I'm gonna send him flying. Yo. Why does this feel like a chibi Nami? And low-key, why is it actually such a good panel? Like, this feels like a change of art style almost. I wouldn't be surprised if this was maybe one of the editors. If you're sneaking off to do what I think you are, did you seriously expect to find your way there without me? Listen up, Luffy. we'll get the key. But if he pulls any... Yo, Nami, you know better than this. You know better than this. What are you doing? Listen up, Luffy. We'll get the key. But if he pulls anything funny, we'll have to take care of him. Got it? Thanks. But why is this guy here? He's my new slave. I'm truly... Yo, they've assimilated him now. Okay. Don't forget, I'm her number 1 slave and Sanji's number 2. Therefore, strong girls really get my blood pumping. Oh my god. Normally I like the scumbags, right? Like, I actually have a really soft spot in my heart for Caribou. Like, part of me really wanted Caribou or Caesar to join the crew as the black sheep of the crew. I understand, never gonna happen. I understand they don't have good synergy, but that's kind of why I wanted them. But Road? Low-key? I kind of seen him just got his ass kicked so many times. I just want to put him out of his misery. Put him out of my misery. He's been struck by lightning, literally. Namitaso, isn't it neat how we're both navigators? Don't ever try to get close to me again. Yes, ma'am. It feels wrong for the guest of honor to bail so early. Don't worry, I brought him some meat. Have you tried this moose? They're all in a drunken stupor now. They probably can't remember what they're celebrating. Okay. That may have just accidentally set up the biggest plot point of this arc. If we've got those 2 strangers coming around, and like I think they're going to try and free Loki and recruit him to the God Knights, right? Because I got a feeling that one of that girl's Mosa, the one that Loki was talking to, if they try to recruit Loki, and there's a battle between Luffy, the God Knights, and Kid is the wild card here, to free Loki, and whoever frees him first gets his allegiance. Meanwhile, all the giants are nerfed because they're on Green Fairy, and they're hallucinating like mofos. It could lead for one of the funniest, like they call this place Warland, right? What if they call it Warland because these dudes just get blackout drunk on the daily? And when they get blackout drunk and start hallucinating, they just start brawling. And introducing the Harley texts, like, I got a feeling it's going to be like a classic biker bar fight. And that'll be funny because it'll fit Luffy's comedy fighting aesthetic. If we, like, you know, they're pulling out like a pool table, busting pool cues over people, doing the Dukes of Hazzard, put a helmet on, and running people through stuff. Tell me that wouldn't be a little bit like up Oda's alley for this situation. So, if all the treasures inside the castle suddenly disappeared, would that be a problem, Road? My vision is awful, so I'm sure I wouldn't even notice. You had this in mind since the beginning, didn't you, Nami? Huh? Your eyes. Duh, gaga. So that's what it is. Ooh. Ooh! Ooh. Ooh, they already got down there. Okay, hold up. Those are the cloaked figures. Okay, wait. Is the mystery dude that's got the straw hat on Elbaf? I kind of want to see him intercept the God Knights. Realm of the Dead. If I understood you correctly, then I'm afraid I'll have to step back and refuse your offer. I'm sure it's an honor to be invited to join your noble knights. But that would make you celestial dragons, right? Do you really expect anyone on the planet to willingly become scum like that? I get that he rejected it. Nah, they're covering his eye. Sorry, I didn't even read that panel yet. They're covering his eye. That ain't Shanks. I know what you're doing, Oda. You ain't slick. But Shanks' brother having the emo fringe over the eye with the scratches is actually hilarious. 'Cause tonight is the night. Oh. The fact that Loki's refusing this, though, like, props to him. On the flip side, though, think about how fucked the world would be if you just had the Prince of all Giants is ridiculously strong, right? Be invited to become a Celestial Dragon as the first new Celestial Dragon. Maybe they're only doing it because this is the first and only time. They're about to do a culling. They're about to do a world cleansing. So if they're going to get any more allies for Celestial Dragons, it's now or never. You've got York already, potentially becoming one. If they were just like, you know what? If we're adding any Celestial Dragons, it's now. Reset the world. Start over again. If they had York and Loki, genuinely think about how busted the world government would be if they succeeded in this cleansing and it came around another time. Like, genuinely, just take a moment to think about that. Do we have any intel? All the informants we sent to Elbaf reported a giant crow headed for them before their transmissions got cut off. Their weakness is beyond belief. Oh, okay. Her name's Gunko. Okay. Hold up. First things first. Thor, if you're watching this, me and you called this that she would have the Punishment Squad get up and she had a fucking cap on. Even with the cloak on, we said she had the Punishment Squad train conductor style hat. We called this. I see you in the comments. We called this. See, this is what happens when we hyper-analyze crap. Because we've got nothing better to do on a Friday night. I thought the God Knights were more inbred and prestigious. I don't think you could just join it like it's a pirate crew. They are prestigious, Karon, but you got to think about the current state of the world, right? They haven't had anyone join in 800 years. They know they're about to wipe out most of the world. It's a now or never situation, and I think even the new members, if they add any new members to the Celestial Dragons, like new families, right? They are still going to be second-class citizens in the Celestial Dragon mindset because they didn't do it the first time around. Bro, this would be time 5 of inbreeding this information. Oh! You're reading this information or inbreeding this information. It's a bit of a slip of the tongue there, man. I'm done just standing by and listening. This is the definition of impertinence. God's Knight Gunko. Ooh. Ooh! Okay. Okay. Hold up. I won't let it stand. Don't be hasty, Gunko. And again, very, very important speech text covering the Shanks lookalike's face again. And they're also very importantly hiding whether or not he's got 2 arms. Right? Okay, first things first, before I move on, right? God Knight Gunko. First things first, confirmed God Knights. Woo! Sweet. Second thing second, we know that they already appeared in the summoning circles. Done. Gunko's power here, being the cloth, or the bandage, but it's unraveling from her items of clothing, but having the devil tail, now leads me to believe that all of the God Knights and the Gorosei have fragments of Im's power, and Im gifts them to people as he sees fit, as a means of powering them and empowering them, and as a means of control to make them submit to him. Because this is the exact same thing that Im impaled Sabo and Cobra with. Literally the exact same. And I think that's very important. I'm just seeing this right here visually. I'm now of the belief that Imu is the combined abilities of all of the God Knights and all of the Gorosei, and they're all going to be just given a portion of his power. And that's how we're going to do this moving forward. And the wolf comes up. Dogger! Eat him up, wolf. Hey, stay back if you want to keep breathing. And she wraps the tail around them. And she gives a scissor motion. She twists and cuts. And it wraps around its head, huh? Hey, wolf. And noose not this man. Wolf. If we were to spare him, would you change your mind then? And Wolf's whimpering. So that's how you operate, huh? Well, if that was your offer, I'd accept my friend's fate and wish him peace in death. It's okay to grieve and rage, but a warrior never kicks and screams in the face of death. No. Please tell me this wolf ain't about to die. And they just go, ooh? I'll swallow all my fury and use it to fuel me when I reduce this world to rubble. A proud proclamation. I actually fuck with this man heavily. Hold up. If anyone's wanting to go live and join in the discussion over on TikTok at the moment, I'm gonna hop in the live stream chat, right? I'm over in the live stream chat, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna unmute it so that you guys and girls can join in there and have some fun with the conversation. Thor, if you're still watching, feel free to hop in as well, my dude. Okay. That was a long chapter. There was a lot in this too. This was a great first chapter for the year. These arrows, though, are going off. Like the bandages and that. You don't have live access. Going for TikTok. No, Thor, on Discord. If you join up through Discord. So hop in the on my channel in Discord, go hop over in the live stream voice channel. Yep, you don't listen. You never listen to me. Heartbreaking. Alright, hold up. There you go. And anyone else that wants to hop over here, feel free. You're more than welcome. Thor, how you going, man? Oh, I can't hear you too well. Speak a little louder. Oh, yeah. Alright, hold up. For some reason, the audio isn't wanting to work for you. Give me a second. Oh, I want them to. You're getting stuck in this. Alright.
No, I was just
fix it now.
I was very pleased with this chapter for like two reasons. One, fucking Usopp's a lying sack of poopy.
He's talking out his ass, and I love it. But he's talking clean out his ass.
Wait! I thought Usopp doesn't lie. Only thing Usopp does is speak the future into reality. Homeboy lied his ass off, bro. Lied
with a furious passion.
I'm the one who took out Oars. I must be remembering a different fight because I'm pretty sure Luffy broke Oars' spine, like, judiciously. But heck, yeah, maybe I'm just remembering things wrong. But no, there was a lot of nuggets of information, like you were going through, that just, like, you see the little, ooh, look what's happening. What's about to happen here? What's about to happen here? I really feel like they did a lot of, Oda did a lot of ha ha ha, here's the past come forward, but now that we're in the forward, there's some more coming up.
Here's a weird take, just thinking about this chapter, right? You know how Usopp's got the gold pound hammer thing, his 10-ton hammer?
Yeah.
I think we're going to see the return of it this arc, but I think it's actually going to do some serious damage, not because of Usopp. Having a look at this, how would you feel if Usopp and Nami do a combo attack, and it makes Usopp look like Thor?
I honestly thought that the moment they got on Elbaf and like there's giants and all that, I knew they were gonna do that. Like that was an easy one because of Zeus, and also the fact that Homeboy's making Zeus with the hammer.
That's an excellent point, Burbo. Burbo just brought up that in this version, it's a sword and shield, whereas in the Skypiea version, it's a spear and shield.
Oh yeah.
Which that makes me wonder if it's the two different times, because you know how they said the world has been destroyed twice already.
Well, not only that, think of the differences in people too. Now, in all fairness, Vikings would prefer spear and shield, but because Elbaf views themselves as true warriors,
swordsmanship,
sword and shield. Where also, if you look at the difference in it too, like Nika was in the Skypiea one is running around with an ancient spear. Like that shit's, old school arrow tip type deal.
Do you know what it actually might be that's even funnier with that? He might actually have had no weapons, and all these depictions are from him fighting the 20 Kingdoms originally, and he's picking up their weapons as he's beating them. You know how, like, Luffy picks up the Nidai Kotetsu and starts punching with it?
Yeah.
It might be something more akin to that, where Nika doesn't actually have any weapons, and they keep depicting him with a shield and a spear and a shield and a sword, because what actually ends up happening is, as he's fighting, he's just picking up stuff, hitting people with it. And that was how he was creative.
Well, I mean, also, the easy one and the lazy one, I know this is going to be lazy, specifically with Skypiea. A spear is medium range, right?
Yep.
So that's just the stretching. Like, that's them viewing his, it's just Homeboy stretching out.
Karen, you want to hop up? I can see you here. You can hop up, Karen.
Oh, no. The world's greatest bleach glazer is going to talk about One Piece.
You can argue. Okay, wait, Thor. Before Charon decides whether or not he's coming up or not, right?
Yeah.
Did you think it was Conqueror's Haki or not in that image with King Harold?
Like, what did they show? I mean, yeah, that's Conqueror's Haki. Again, as the one person who hates
lightning.
You know me.
Hey, Karen.
Oh no, I hate Conqueror's Haki because everyone's like, oh, everyone should have it. It's like if everyone has it, it's no longer important and special.
I think that's clearly a picture frame because we can literally see the void in the crack showing the darkness. I was like Conqueror's Haki.
The void in the crack?
You know, when they show a picture frame in media, when something is cracked, they usually just show they use just the color black to represent it.
Yeah, except it goes over the frame.
Doesn't look like it's going over the frame. I think it stops
over on the right, on the top one goes over the actual portrait frame. It's like a big thick section.
I think the glass and the photo is broken.
I would agree, but like I'm saying, it goes over the frame. So it's something in front of the image.
saying this is like a crazy point of view or stance. I mean, he's the king of the giants. It wouldn't be crazy for him to have conquerors hockey.
No. But the thing more so that I'm interested about was like the positioning of this, right? Because okay, hear me out. Look at the image. Do you have the image clear in front of you?
Yeah, I have the image.
All right, I'm gonna ask two things, and this is gonna sound dumb. Everyone, let's fucking go to the same image. Let's look at this side by side, right? Because there's two different ways you could look at this. Number one, is that a cloak with spiked wings on it, or is that the actual throne?
Where's the picture at? It's for me to.
Discord.
Yeah. So is that a throne? Like, is that a chair, and he's sitting in front of it, or is that a cloak, and he's wearing it over his shoulders?
Oh yeah, that's a cloak.
See, I thought that was a cloak because of the little whites down the right-hand side, right?
It looks like he's sitting down.
It could be either way.
I don't see-
But Karen, not in the image that you sent through. Look up at Burbo's. You see Burbo's image? See that top lightning sort of look? How the thick of it goes over the frame.
Top right. The black coloring over his head.
No, not the shawl. Underneath that. So, like, go to the bottom of the sword. You see the very bottom of the sword?
Yeah.
What you think the crack is. Follow that crack up and see how it gets thick and comes off over the front of the frame.
Yeah, I think that would just be the wood breaking.
If it was just a wood breaking, he would have had chipped wood. Because when he shows wood, he shows it like chipped wood. He doesn't do it like just a black crack. To me, what that is that's Conqueror's Haki, and that's actually a big mirror in the background there, and that's either him standing with the cloak on, or that's him sitting on a throne.
So just in context, we know in media they use a picture falling or breaking to signify betrayal or death. So I just came to the conclusion via that fact. I mean, this is literally in the scene where they're talking about Loki murking him.
Yeah, but so like, see the shawl that goes over the front of it, right? Like the black shading over his face and that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a curtain. Like that's like
That's a curtain.
that's the traditional see-through curtain that you have in front of like a throne room.
I thought that too as well. It's not a crazy take.
Because like a lot of traditional throne rooms and that, they have like big mirrors behind them that give this illusion that the king's area is never ending. You know what I mean?
I think we just drop. We'll see what one is animated in like the next year.
True.
The next year.
True.
Out of the freaking not showing us Shanks' face. That's Shanks, by the way. Don't care what anyone says.
Nah, it's not going to be Shanks.
This is how I know
Yeah, it's
you
already
straight
been-
up
by the
just like
fact
to
that
talk.
Loki didn't mention that if it was Shanks, I think Loki would have more of a reaction. I'm not gonna lie. Thinks we see that Shanks beat him. It's either that or he can't see his face.
I mean, Loki's blind as far as we know.
Oh, he's blind. Yes, he's blind.
Pardon?
He has the blindfolds on. I forgot.
Yeah, he's got the blindfolds on, but on top of that, it's heavily implied that he's actually blind.
Did we see any like authoritative presence with the Shanks clone and the girl? Did he like tell her to stop or anything like that?
Nope.
Like control or something?
Nope. And to be completely honest, with the way he's reacting, he doesn't even seem like he thinks that they're ridiculously powerful or anything. Although it's also very interesting that Gunko has I'm forgetting the name of it because I haven't played Baldur's Gate in a minute, but the two different eye colors.
Heterochromia.
Heterochromia.
Yeah,
there we go.
that
That's
is,
interesting because that's the first character in the series with heterochromia.
And you know,
No.
in fiction, that usually symbolizes two different like powers.
Mm.
Usually.
No,
We've just blown your mind then, Thor, haven't we?
No, I know what heterochromia is. I just again the moronic statement that in fiction that means two powers is
I never said it means directly. I said usually. If you bring up characters with two powers, they usually have two different symbols in their eyes, or different colors in their eyes.
That does happen quite a bit in like anime and manga. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's concretely
Right.
to be the case. Like, in a romance anime, they won't have powers, would they?
It's the same with split-colored hair, like dead down the middle,
Yeah.
hair on one side, hair on the other. Like any
Okay.
duality sort of symbology happens quite a bit.
Yeah.
Not
Every
definitive
fan
though.
looks
It,
like-
like I'm not gonna say she definitively has two powers, but like I'm not gonna say that it's like beyond the realm of possibility. It definitely could happen.
Could be the case.
So Loki
So-
cut Mountbeard clean through the head.
Get an idea of what her lineage would be, right? I remember this in the last review.
Of whose lineage? Gunko.
Gunko, yeah, you were talking about her family. The last
Yeah.
review.
Yeah,
Remember?
I was saying that because we couldn't tell, because last time we were saying we couldn't tell if she had split hair color or not, right?
Yeah.
So we were trying to see whether or not she had a half red, half white. But it makes more sense now that she doesn't have that, because the half that looked like it could have been red, we were saying also potentially looked like a punishment squad hat, which nailed it on the head here. It's a punishment squad hat. She's got the punishment squad whole get up. But now that we can see both sides of her hair clearer, we can see that clearly wasn't dark shading for the hair. So I think she's a man Maya, not a split member, if that makes sense. Although I will be super curious to see if this heterochromia is a result of something to do with observation haki, or if it's maybe a family trait.
Is that the only instance? It isn't like I'm thinking of the dude in Dressrosa, Cavendish. Cavendish didn't have heterochromia, didn't he?
No, he had two different shapings of his eye when his demon took over, but they were still the same color.
Yeah, Loki has a big wolf. Wolf? Be cliche.
How do you guys feel about my idea that all of the God Knights and Gorosei have a fraction of Im's power, because this is having the same visual effect as what Im did to Cobra and Sabo?
I've been a subscriber to that theory since the day Gorosei passed away. I think it was pretty obvious at that point. God gives and he takes. Imu being would I say God? I think the Antichrist would be a better one.
I think Antichrist is more Doflamingo. I think he would be more representative of the devil.
Yeah, I was always subscribed to the God gives and God takes type of view. So I agree 100%. I just thought you subscribed to that already. What did you think was the case?
I was saying it's a possibility. I wasn't subscribing to anyone in particular, because it's like it could have been for the Gorosei, but now it's like it seems more like it's Gorosei and God Knights, not just one of them, if that makes sense.
It would make sense why Loki wouldn't subscribe to, join the God Knights, because how would you want someone just holding your life in your hands and can end you at any moment?
Especially when you want to be able to destroy the world. Which, mind you, Loki actually seems like a pretty decent dude in a weird sense, despite all the fucked up shit he's apparently done on Elbaf.
I'm expecting
Yeah.
a kind of backstory where they're like, he's done fucked up shit, but there's explanations to the shit he's done.
Well, what's the explanation? He wanted to.
Honestly,
Like, let's say, okay, everyone perceives New World as a good guy. I know New World is a bad guy, so I murk New World. Everyone's gonna see I'm a bad guy because I murked the good guy, right? That's the explanation.
I actually kind of think it's sort of the opposite in a sense. I think it's
Opposite.
because he, like, you know how they're saying everyone wants to be Sun God? I think he
Yeah,
wants
everyone
to
wants to be
be, I think he literally wants to be Sun God more than anyone else. And what he understands of Sun God is all these people having like a different interpretation. Like he's a liberator, he's a destroyer, he laughs when he fights. I think Loki thinks he is all three. Right? So these events are him trying to embody that forcibly. Right? So he's, as his father is trying to make the world reach out to the rest of the world, he's like, well, from our legends, the warrior, like our sun god is a warrior of liberation. So he's going to liberate us from the authoritarian rule, even if that rule is to open up the borders to everyone else. And I know that sounds like a warped sense there, but I think it's like a mix of traditionalism and modernism, if that makes sense. So like, Loki's looking at it like him burning down the village is like he's probably burning down the places where Harold's trying to like establish open trade with the outside world. Loki probably hates any of the giants that join the world government.
Wouldn't that go against Nika's philosophy of joining everyone together?
That's not Nika's philosophy though, is it?
For real? I thought he wanted to save everyone.
That's Joy Boy and that's Luffy in a sense. But think about it. The only legend is a mysterious warrior that laughs and fights freely, shows up, destroys oppressive people, and leaves everyone to do whatever they want.
Have you seen ND's video? He thinks Nika is inspired by an African, real historian.
Whoa. That, first things first, that's a stolen video.
It's stolen?
Yeah, dude. Keron, I made a video on that like 3 years ago.
I did not see that. I was like, yo, this guy has really done the research.
No, like, it came from an old... He stole that, not just from me, from like heaps of other people on YouTube. That's been a thing for like 4 years now, 5 years.
I did not notice that.
Unironically, the first time anyone brought it up was the chapter 1045.
How did you even find that out, Nero?
When it got brought up.
It was brought to your attention? I was like, I thought this was some new discovery.
No. That's an old one, right? Because that's one of the reasons why everyone was saying it makes a hell of a lot of sense that Luffy was Brazilian and whatnot. Like, this has been a talking point for like half a decade now. This ain't nothing new.
It's really not.
It's if you scroll back when I first hopped on TikTok, I probably have a few videos talking about it, but like I joined TikTok after this was already more of a thing. Like if you probably go back on my YouTube, you'll probably find more stuff on it on my YouTube than you would on TikTok.
Yeah, he stole it, man. Like I just searched it up and I found the exact scan and image he used in his video.
Yeah.
I didn't even make it sound like he found it out, man.
To be fair, he's sharing the idea. That's fine.
One of the oldest things too is also that Luffy is a representation of what's his name, the fucking spider god, Miss Anansi. That's one of the oldest.
The spider god.
Yes,
I know Anansi. There is an idea that Luffy represents a bunch of things. So it's like Joy, like yep.
Again, because of when they first showed Nika. And the fact that that Anansi runs around doing whatever the fuck he wants, and also the symbology of the spear with the hair and everything, and the wild child mentality. That's been the moment they shown the sun god is like, oh yeah, look at that, that's Anansi.
And see,
also
this is actually the thing that I think Oda's going for, right? Luffy represents a combination of gods from almost every mythology combined together, but it's the gods from all those mythologies that share the same theme, right? So, Sun Wukong, fucking Bajrang, you've the spider god you were talking about, Joy Boy, the god of dance and rhythm, bolder. Like, he's a representation of all these gods from all these different mythologies, because that's kind of the point, right? The whole point of One Piece is we're seeing we're seeing a unironic fable of gods being told in real time before it gets made into legend and hyperbolized. Right? So, okay, think about it like this, right? And I know it's a fan term for the most part, but you know how people say that Zoro's the king of hell, right?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Okay. Genuinely, think about how these stories will be told if they use their epithets instead of their names at the end of the story. So, Whiskey Peak, right? You remember Whiskey Peak?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very small, self-contained, nothing really special happened in that arc, did it? Like, they met Vivi, they fought Baroque Works, they banded together, and then they left, right? It was all done and said in one night. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now think about it from the perspective of the new mythology. The sun god and the king of hell show up on this island and fight until they are stopped by the queen of the weather and end up saving a princess from an army of evil assassins. That has a very different spin for the exact same story, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It does. I meant the King of Hell. And you know who's gonna be telling it? Is the numbers still alive? Like Mr. 1, Mr. 2?
Yeah, they're alive.
Yeah, Baroque Works.
Like, when you look at One Piece through the lens of it being a mythology like that, right? And like genuinely, you can do it to every arc. It gets so stupid, but it's like, it is ridiculous. Like even Arlong Park, right? You're like, okay, the sun god and the god of hell and the weather witch and the prince of the evil kingdom of the north showed up to this town to fight the evil tyrannical ruler of the sea.
Everybody got cool names, but Sanji's name is like reusing, bro. Like, Sanji's cool name.
Sanji sucks.
Still using Dark?
He's the prince of the evil Germa kingdom. He's a prince of the evil. He's technically, like, when all said and done, he's probably gonna have the epithet of King of Evil, or like King of the Underworld, right? Because like the Diablo sort of names it.
Yeah, something like that. Who does Zoro think he is, man? Zoro thinks he can beat the shit out of Loki. Who does he think he is?
He didn't think, he definitely could have taken out the fucking one homeboy who you said if he didn't apologize, it would have been your head.
Oh, dude, he's dropping Road. But okay. This is gonna be funny, right? I actually really would like to see Zoro versus Loki for a brief moment, because I actually think Loki has done something that Zoro can't. I think Loki just all melee weapons in One Piece are regarded as blades, even if they're not, as stupid as that sounds.
No, I know.
Yeah.
Loki having this hammer here, it looks jet black. I dare say that this is a black blade. One of the 12 Supreme Grade blades.
How old is Loki?
Right? And me and Thor talked about this last week, right? One of the there's Loki and Floki, right? Floki is one of the greatest blacksmiths in Norse mythology, right?
Mm-hmm.
I could definitely see a situation where they free Loki, he starts fighting with Zoro, and he's actually overwhelming Zoro despite Zoro's cockiness, because it's a black blade and he made it black himself.
Well, I mean, not only that, if you want to even go on that route, yes, have Loki and Zoro fight, and then have Loki be the person who shows Zoro how to go plus ultra, essentially.
Does it... Alright.
On that topic, how far do you think Loki got? Because we know he went out to sea. How far in the sea do you think he got?
As far as he wanted.
Before Shanks
I think Shanks picked... okay. The problem is with that, it actually said, like, the way they made it sound is Shanks didn't beat him at sea. It sounded like he went out to sea a couple of times, caused some havoc, and then Shanks came to this island and beat him on this island. Which sounds a little weird, but it sounds like he was doing some Viking raiding parties.
He was running
100% that fool.
So they say he
100%.
caught him at sea. Said he was running amok at sea when Redhead captured him.
No. I'm just trying to look. Does anyone know? I'm just trying to imagine off the top of my head. Is there anything in Ragnarok about the ground splitting?
Ragnarok mythos? Hey, we have the internet, man. Let's look at the mythos.
Yes.
I had a quick Google and I
Prophecy.
couldn't say anything. What would the mythology be for the ground splitting in Ragnarok and the context?
It's the same thing as the fucking Judeo-Christian apocalypse. The fucking earth cracks, and then that's how Surtur gets into Midgard and starts his ascent to the World Tree to burn it down.
Okay.
Is through the earth cracking.
Bet. Zoro's-
As I'm reading the mythos.
Zoro's gonna fight Loki, right? Loki's gonna go to hit him, miss with it. He's gonna hit the ground. He's gonna split the ground and a little bit of the tree. And if Big Mum's alive, shit, that's where she comes back.
As I'm reading the Ragnarok prophecy, the submersion of world underwater.
Yeah,
It's looking some.
the world does go underwater too, but yes, it's a bunch of bullshit that sucks for everybody.
And the burning of the world, Luffy, Fishman Island prophecy. Yo,
Let's read this. Let's
Let's
read
get
the
this
whole
started.
thing, right?
Well, I
great
mean-
battle between giants. Yo, is One Piece just doing the Ragnarok prophecy at this point?
No.
It's doing it's doing all of them, man. It's doing Ragnarok. It's doing the Judeo-Christian apocalypse. It's doing the end of times. It's mixing all of those mythologies together in a neat bow, making those different interpretations, the different factions, and that's what One Piece is. That's what it's always been.
I'm reading the prophecy right now. It just looks like the latest chapters. A great battle between gods, giants, and demons. Come on, man.
Ragnarok was said to begin when the wolves Skull and Hati, who have been chasing the
No.
sun and the moon for all time, would finally accomplish
That's
their
not
goal.
what. Again, you can technically go off of the fact. Again, we do. So remember, the start of Ragnarok only starts from one thing and one thing only.
Loki frame.
That is the death. That's the death of Balder. That's what starts Ragnarok. So, if you want to go off of the death of Balder, who is the most beloved of all people, which you can say King, if they want to make the assumption that King, what's his name, Harold. What's Loki's dad's name?
And the stars would then disappear from the sky. You mean the sky cracking? Then the
Okay.
wolf in here would break
Wait,
the
hear me out this, right? I'm reading the prophecy of Ragnarok, right? So the events of Ragnarok. Ragnarok is said to begin when the wolves Skull and Hati, who have been chasing the sun and the moon for all of time, would finally accomplish their goal by swallowing their prey, right? Obviously, there's a bunch of Skull and Hati, like I've done a bunch of Skull and Hati videos recently, whether you're talking about Shanks
Yeah,
and
I've
his
seen those
brother or Shanks and Blackbeard, right? There's a lot of symbology there. But thinking about it like this, right? You've just, like, even though they haven't gotten to Luffy/Boulder yet, right? Shanks and Blackbeard have just collected poneglyphs by removing supernovas, which are stars in the sky, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yo, bro,
Skull
you
and
see-
Hati, who have been chasing the sun and the moon for all of time, would finally accomplish their goals and swallow their prey. The stars would then disappear from the sky. Trees and mountains would fall into the earth as Yggdrasil crumbles. Right? Then, keep listening. Then the giant wolf Fenrir, obviously this is Fenrir being represented in this chapter as well, right? Like the giant black wolf. Then Fenrir
Yeah, we saw that.
would break free of the chains of which they were bound and proceed to wreak havoc across the earth, demolishing everything in its path. Jormungandr,
It also
the great sea serpent, would rise from the depths of the ocean, causing giant waves of water to spill onto the land as they come ashore. Now, hear me out. Jormungandr could be two things. Jormungandr could either be
Shirahoshi?
Shirahoshi, or The other representation of Jormungandr that the Giants referenced in the past, the Great Serpent soaked in blood. Jormungandr could also be the Red Line.
I'm just reading One Piece of this.
As the Red Line,
you know what the One Piece is?
as the Red Line rises, so as the Red Line grows in height, the rest of the world starts submerging.
Yeah.
Right?
Again, technically speaking, you know what's the funny thing, Nova?
What?
You already had, well, again, the starting events of Ragnarok, yes, all the bullshit happens, right? You have the Fimbul Winter, you have all that shit. But the thing that kicks it off
Death of Balder.
is the death of the first death of Balder.
Yep, the death of the god of the sun. So it kicked off. Remember, the war's been going for how long? 800 years?
Yeah, guess what? Loki.
Nika died. Balder died 800 years ago and started it technically back then.
Loki breaks free from his chains at the onset of Ragnarok.
Yep.
What is Loki about to do right now, man?
Break free of his chains. It was said that the sky would crack and a huge rift would appear, out of which fiery realm of Muspelheim would be revealed. The great fire giants would come forth. Mind you, pause there, right? Cracks in the sky, like you said, Charon, Conqueror's Haki, right?
Yeah.
Out of which fiery realm Muspelheim. What's Muspelheim, everyone?
Everyone doesn't know. Maybe 4 knows. I don't know.
Thor?
Let me search.
Muspelheim, just the land of the fire giants, bro. That's all it is. It's the...
Wait. The reason I'm saying it, right? This is going to sound such a dumb on the nose thing. The land of the fire giants opens up and they start coming forth, right?
Yes.
The fire giants are the Figurlin family with the red hair that live atop, right? Surtur could quite literally be a representation of Im. Right? If Surtur's Im, the fire giants are the god knights. And remember, Shanks has a flaming sword. The fire giants, have flaming swords.
Yeah.
As the armies of chaos march along the Bifrost on their way to Asgard, the Rainbow Bridge would crumble behind them. Heimdall would be the first to see and send word to Odin to warn them of their arrival, right? Think about that. This is going to sound like a big swap here, right? What if they're swapping the mythologies a bit? What if Heimdall is Roger, and instead of Odin, it's Odin?
What other mythos do you think they're going by?
They're doing the Judo.
You said Judaism?
The Judaic Christian apocalypse, for sure. They're definitely doing that.
Christian apocalypse. I know that shit by heart. I mean, I've grown up with Christian also.
Yeah.
7 angels, blow trumpets.
Hey, guess what, Charon? Let me run this one off for you, right? They use the word hell to describe Marijwa. You have the devil being Im, right? You have Doflamingo, who represents the Antichrist, the son of the devil, right?
Yeah.
Again, Doflamingo also had 12 disciples, one of which betrayed him. So he's the Antichrist, literally, because he's Jesus. He has the same story as Jesus, just on an evil spin, right? You have the Gorosei and the God Knights all being the demons from hell. They are guarded by Akainu, the Hellhound, right? And they have just risen their ranks with the Nephilim, or Seraphim, which are the 7 unholy abominations of angels and fucking demons, being the warlords and the Lunarians. Which is why they're covered head to toe in cross symbology. They have crosses posted up everywhere. Like, look at Mihawk.
Yeah,
Kuma's
better calm down.
Kuma's literally introduced with a Bible. There are different names for holy books. The Bible is what? The Bible is a name for the holy book from what mythologies or what religion? Judeo-Christians.
Whoa.
Christians more so.
It's no. It's just them.
Because you have the other scripts. I understand, right? But it's because technically, it's like, yeah, you know what I mean.
No.
What I mean.
Don't put my people on that shit. I mean, not on that shit, but on that nomenclature.
I know. But okay, again, Heimdall would be the first to see and would send word to Odin. Okay, hear me out. If Heimdall's not Roger, Heimdall is the representation of the person that wrote the poneglyphs in the first place.
The Void Century was 1,000 years ago, right?
800 years ago.
Okay.
Because listen to this. Heimdall would be the first to see the world end and send word to Odin to warn him of the arrival of Ragnarok and the end of days. Remember Odin's diary where he said he found out the Void Century and has to prep for the second coming of Sun God? Which they had
I remember some of them.
Which they had long known was coming. The All-Father would then seek the counsel of Mimir, the wisest being in the universe, and of the possibilities of them being able to escape. I'm assuming Mimir is probably going to be like tied with Vegapunk.
It would be Vegapunk, but again, also son of a bitch. That actually works because remember, Mimir's just ahead.
Yep.
Like
Vegapunk's just literally ahead.
Yeah.
With no other options, the gods would decide to go to battle, even though they already know that the prophecy has foretold of their doom. They would meet with their foe on the battlefield of Vigrid. The first showdown of the battle would be with Fenrir, who would fight to the death against Odin and his... I'm not going to pronounce this properly. The Einherjar, the chosen warriors. Yeah, the chosen warriors. The chosen warriors who died in battle and went to Valhalla. The giant wolf was destined to kill Odin and his men, swallowing them whole, only to be killed in vengeance by Odin's son, Vidar, who would drive his sword through the monster's throat.
It's crazy because the beginning of the revelations is that it starts with famine, diseases, and earthquakes. That's all we've been having.
Yep.
In One Piece right now, the latest chapters.
Yep. Because again, they're combining all of these mythologies for the end of times. Okay, have you seen Oda's interview that he wanted to write the biggest war in anime manga history?
I've seen clips, not the entire interview.
Right.
I'm just joking. I've seen clips, not the entire interview.
All he's wanted to do is just build up all these mythologies. That's why One Piece is so long. It's just him building up all these fucking mythologies. Because I mean, okay, from the Christian standpoint, what more do you need than the literal bitch slap in the face of the Void Century, the Poneglyphs, Fishman Island, Noah's Ark?
Yeah, that's just a verbatim reference.
Yeah, so there's already all this symbology in that, right? It's just more so how many are they going to do and how crazy are they going to change it up? You know what I mean? Nephilim, if you want to hop in, I've given you the permission. You can hop in the live stream chat. Okay, what happens after Ragnarok? Heimdall and Loki would also fight to the death, each inflicting mortal wounds on each other, as well as Tyr and the giant wolf. Garm, Freya, and Surt. The final showdown of the great battle would be between Thor and Jormungandr. The god of thunder would kill the serpent with his mighty hammer. However, he would have been covered in poison during the struggle, limiting his ability to fight on, and would eventually meet his end along with the rest of his kin.
What do you think 4 is?
Thor?
In One Piece?
In One Piece, no one. Like, that's the problem. There's no you have no representation of Nordic Sasuke Uchiha.
The NL is gonna come back, man.
Do you know who?
Well, no, I mean,
do you know who it could
it's
be?
more than just
We haven't.
you,
We haven't seen it yet. Hear me out on this, right? For the purposes of the mythology here, Oda does shift and change a little bit. He doesn't do it verbatim 1-to-1, does he?
Oh, it's not 1-to-1.
Alright. Nephilim, also just be careful. We've got a little bit of feedback. Like we can hear ourselves through it. Yeah.
you hear ourselves think. That's fucking wild, Garon.
So, hear me out on this, right? Hold up, sorry. That's Nephilim. Just when you're not talking, do you mind muting? Just because we can. Oh no, it's sorted now. Thank you. Okay, hear me out.
What do you want to do?
Thor? What if Thor, in this situation, doesn't take on that role? They're swapping that with Luffy, and instead Thor actually has a different symbology being half shared, and it's half being shared with Gold Roger. Because Gold Roger got an illness that was incurable, and it stopped him from taking down the Red Line and all the gods and all that, right? But
you want to hear a crazy one that, again, if we're going to try to quickly, right?
Yep.
Unfortunately, you know who would be the best representation of Thor?
Who? Enel?
Think of it. No, it's not Enel. Think of it. Thor's an alcoholic who likes to fuck, fight, and unalive things. That is all he does. And all he truly wants is the glorious death that he deserves on the field of battle.
Kaido?
Glorious death, alcoholic. Odin is already dead, bro.
Kaido?
Who? Kaido. Yes, because Kaido is also a dragon that, when they say it, encompasses the whole world when they see him for the first time, because they're like, holy shit, this fool's all over the world, which is what Jormungandr does.
Yep.
Are you saying that Kaido's will be Thor or Jormungandr?
It'd be Thor.
He'd be both.
Like, in this all endgames times, where does my glorious
king
go? Katakuri come into play?
Katakuri? Support, bro. He's a Valkyrie. Through and through.
And also, he uses the Valkyrie weapon, the spear, which is what they use to choose the Valiant Dead.
Okay.
I know it's a harpoon.
I would give you... Damn, I can't. I would give you Kaido as Thor had you used the fact that he does have lightning-based attacks in this thing. The whole alcoholism, revelry, and other things, that's not really integral to who Thor is. That's part of just Viking culture.
No. That is definitely heavily associated with, like, mythology Thor. And I'm not talking, like, MCU Thor. Mythology Thor.
No. I know we're talking about mythology Thor, but specifically with mythology Thor, that's not just his character. That is a representation of Viking culture, of how these soldiers will live their life to the fullest when off the battlefield, because they are ready to pass away when on the battlefield.
We're not saying that's all
wait. So here's your issue right there, Neff. Who was pretty much the top 3 gods? Even though he's not technically a great god, Thor is a top 3 god in Viking culture, because he represents Viking culture better than any other god. That's what he did. Think of it. That's why I call him Nordic Sasuke Uchiha. He is 3/4 fucking frost giant. He is more Jotnar than he is Aesir. And what does he do? He walks around murking Jotnar left, right, and center because they're a challenge. This fool lives his life to fight, die.
Thor doesn't have any Jotun blood.
So
what? Wait, no. Did you say Thor has no Jotnar blood?
Yeah.
Okay, so Odin's half Jotnar, half Aesir. His mom was the frost giant of the earth. He is 3/4 Jotnar.
Who was his mother?
Oh, stop.
Frigo's
Wait,
right.
stop. Because yes, Kaido would also fit that mythology, but do you know who else also shares that fucking mythology in a sense?
Who?
Zoro.
Ooh.
Yes.
The
So
raging alcoholic, but Zoro's mum's name means Earth.
Do we know Zoro's mom?
Yeah.
For real? Who's Zoro's dad?
Zoro's dad is his granddad's Pinzoro. His dad's Ashura.
Are we? No, I haven't watched One Piece then. Oh, let me look this up.
You haven't
Is this
read
like
One
an
Piece.
implication?
No,
Wait,
we have Zoro's family tree from SBS's.
Oh no. Oh, okay. I was like,
Okay.
I've never seen this one.
Hear me out on this, right? Also, in favor of the Kaido one, I mean, what's Kaido's fucking best attacks?
Thor.
He calls lightning from the sky.
Destroyer of three worlds, Ragnarok.
Three worlds.
That Ragnarok destroys 7 worlds.
Pardon?
I thought Ragnarok destroyed 7 worlds because the land of the dead and the land of Midgard.
Yeah, no, but not Zoro.
Well,
Kaido's
no, wait.
attack is called Destroyer of Three Worlds, Ragnarok.
Also, Ragnarok
Mhm.
destroys all 9 realms. Like, everything gets fucked.
Like the realm of the dead and Midgard are the only things that survive. The realm of the dead is empty, and Midgard is repopulated by what's his name?
By Thor?
The dude Loki killed, Balder.
No. God, Balder comes back
You know
because he's the
Balder
Jesus
is?
of the story. But again, 2 humans hide in the roots of the ash tree of Yggdrasil. Yggdrasil's reborn and remakes the realms because Balder comes to fucking make everything right again. It's okay.
Or Balder.
And then the
died.
land of the
How
dead
does-
also survives. It is.
What is that?
It's still.
That is what he's talking
Midgard
Okay.
in Ragnarok. The Stardust haven't been damaged.
Okay,
The armies of the dead leave the land of the dead, but the land of the dead is not subject to the battle.
alright, ears up for a second. You ready for this one?
Mhm.
Okay, so the God of Thunder will kill the serpent and his mighty hammer. However, he will be covered in poison during the struggle, limiting his ability to fight on, and they will eventually succumb with the rest of his king, right? Now, this is a sidebar. Depending on the account, there are varying accounts of what happens next. In many accounts of these events, Ragnarok is the end of the world, and what is left of the world would simply fall into the void and disappear. However, now mind you, fall into the void would mean what happens if Blackbeard wins, right? However, in
Where does
some
Blackbeard play into this?
what I just said then, in many accounts of these events, Ragnarok ends with the void winning and everything going, right? However, in some versions of the story, gods such as Balder, Valley, Modi, and Magni, all survive and usher in a new age of prosperity and peace called the New World Green, the Green New World. 2 humans who hid from the chaos, Lif and Lifthrasir,
Yeah.
would also be the last surviving members of their species and would go on to repopulate their planet. Finally, a new sun would rise in the sky, which would be the daughter of the old one and shine across the dawn of the new world. So that obviously seems more like, obviously you're going to have the relation there of Luffy being both Boulder and the new sun at the end, right?
Mhm.
You've, got Blackbeard there representing the void, representing the potential of, we all know Blackbeard's not going to win in the story, right?
You don't know that, man. Some stories end crazy, like kill.
Well, you
It'd
can't...
be one hell of a twist.
You can't have light without dark, right? So saying in some versions the world falls into a void, and some versions saying the world lived in an all-new happy peace, right? The best way to represent that is having both of them continue on as a balance to each other, right? Light and dark. You know what I mean?
I don't think it has to exactly be, both of them in that certain way. Like they could get rid of one and just have someone else take that place.
To be honest, I don't know if anyone's going to take the place of Luffy or Blackbeard, though, for a next generation. Just
I don't see why not.
okay, who? Name a character that you think would supplant Blackbeard from in this story.
Currently none. I can't think of anyone that could really replace Blackbeard one for one.
And that's kind of the point, right? Like, it's a weird enough thing, right? Luffy doesn't hold a grudge against Blackbeard, right? He only holds a grudge against Akainu, right? Not Blackbeard, yeah? I've been saying for a few years now, there's a possibility that Blackbeard never gets his comeuppance in the story because the whole point of him is he balances out Luffy throughout the whole story. Because Blackbeard and Luffy do the exact same thing. They go to islands, they liberate the islands. The difference is the aftercare of what they do to the islands. And we see this from Drum Kingdom. Blackbeard showed up to Drum Kingdom, got rid of Wapol, saved the kingdom, and then fucked off. Didn't help them. You know what I mean? So it's the same sort of possibility here. Because especially since, like, obviously, the way Oda does it, he doesn't do it one for one. There's going to be tweaks and stuff, right? And, just reading that mythology as we have right now, right? You can already see, like, 85% of the pieces are already set up in some capacity, aren't they?
There's definitely a lot of imagery and symbolism that leads to this theory.
And it's also a matter of you don't necessarily know just because the pirates are being represented with Norse mythology, you don't know necessarily which mythology is going to potentially pay out the most in the end, do you?
Imagine if they end up with Egyptian mythology out of nowhere.
I mean, what do you mean out of nowhere? They've already set it up. From Alabasta.
I have not seen any I don't remember any Egyptian symbolism from Alabasta.
The two guardian deities of Alabasta being the falcon, representing Ra, and being the jackal, representing Anubis. And how they were literally on the tomb protecting the poneglyph. Literally, like, surrounding the sun around the poneglyph. That's a very easy one to miss, though, because it's so long ago, but no one ever talks about it. You know what I mean? But I mean, like, Vivi has...
to, go back. I don't like doing that.
Vivi has sort of bounced back, though, hasn't she? As being relevant.
Yeah. So maybe they'll bring back some of Alabasta.
I mean, Alabasta definitely will be brought back, since we know that they are both an allied nation of Joy Boy and also a member of the Celestial Dragons and Ancient Kingdom. So they're the people that played both sides back in the day.
Those filthy rats.
I want to say it's chapter 210. What do you reckon the likelihood that I've gotten this right is?
Knowing how into this whole series you are, I'd say about 97%.
I reckon I'm off by a bit.
No, while I got you here, unrelated, is Uta canon?
Yes, she's canon.
No,
Cool.
New World One Piece fans have been using that shit to get Luffy the Universal, man.
No, I don't care about Luffy in this situation. I just love I love Uta's fruit. Uta has the best fruit in One Piece.
No, she doesn't. Blackbeard does.
I would say neither of those people, but sure, you're all entitled to enjoy what devil fruit you like.
In your opinion, what is the number one devil fruit?
Number one devil fruit. If I had to pick a devil fruit, I'm either picking Enels, Laws, or Kizarus. They're the three
In
most
terms of
useful devil fruits.
in terms of utility,
Yep.
it's law.
Those
I
are
mean, yeah, but like,
those are the three best fruits de facto.
I mean,
Yeah.
what do you do when someone just walks up to you, starts singing "Twinkle Twinkle Little Star," and suddenly you're a servant?
Dude, I take their heart. I take their
With
hearts.
what consciousness?
I mean, how often do you want someone to be your servant?
You want me to answer that honestly?
Yep.
Yo, what?
Yeah, I'm a very lazy guy. Look, if I can,
Oh shit.
get all my chores done just by singing, "Light Show" by Akintoye. There's the two little speakers outside my house. I have it hooked up to a microphone whenever I'm bored. I just dun dun dun. Boom.
Nah, bro. Lost fruit is better, man.
Alright, if 203 was too far, it's gonna be 202.
Fucking like, dude, like, Blackbeard gives like the most aura farmer fruit to Blackbeard, man. Imagine if someone like you are at the darkness fruit, just walking around in darkness. Tough.
Honestly, I can't really respect the dark fruit that much.
Oh man, it's the only fruit that's able to negate devil fruit
Alright.
abilities. It's perfect.
Here we go. You guys ready for this?
Yeah, man.
Chapter 202. The Mausoleum. The Royal Mausoleum. Right? So this is when the introduction of poneglyphs first started. Right? So you go to the west of the Royal Palace, the Royal Mausoleum, the tomb of the Royal Family of Alabaster. They've got a secret stairwell that goes underneath, just like in Wano, that goes underneath to the Pluton. And remember, the poneglyph here from Alabaster tells you where Pluton is on Wano. Right?
Mm.
So they've got...
The anti-copyright papers make this impossible to read.
Yep, no, that's alright. I can read it for you, right? It chapter 202, if you want to bring it up for yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
On page 8, you see the mausoleum. You see the sun, and then you see a sun with horns, like Loki's horns, in the middle. And on the left is the jackal, and on the right is the hawk, right? But they're both people. And then in front of that, you've got all these different depictions, like the world flooding on the walls and the sea kings swimming about. And then you've even got one of someone in a barrel on a little dinghy.
Mm.
Right? And then the writing that's all through there is the Kozuki family writing. Right?
You remember what the Egyptian end of the world scenario was?
Do I remember what it is?
Sure.
Honestly, no, not off the top of my head. I can look it up.
From what I remember, don't quote me on this fully, but for the Egyptians, the end of the world was Amon-Ra being broken into 3 aspects and fighting back I believe it was a form of serpent. I don't know if it was the world serpent or something else.
The end of the world would be when the cosmos returned to the primeval waters. So the sun god Atum describes the end of the universe as where everything ceases to exist except the primordial waters that flood the world.
That's preceded by Ra losing the battle that he goes on every day. Because essentially, the passage of the sun in Egypt is Ra going through his three separate aspects, and at night he fights off just a giant snake, and he is fated to lose that battle, and that's what triggers their end of the world scenario.
And you know what's even funnier than that?
What?
The god Nu. And I know it's not the same, but Imu and Nu, right? The goddess of the primordial chaos of waters.
The snake that Ra fights is Apophis, the chaos, the embodiment of chaos.
The endless waters of chaos. Nu. N-U. The personification of the primordial watery abyss. And do you know what the funniest thing about that is? Talking about the Egyptian mythology, right? One Piece introduces the Egyptian mythology in Alabasta, and the concept of the poneglyphs as a whole in Alabasta, right? And guess what happens as Alabasta ends?
What?
They introduced the Gorosei and the first celestial dragons we see in the story.
Actually, that fits a lot closer. Especially if you consider, the sun god Nika sailing across the ocean to battle off the force of chaos to bring freedom.
Mm-hmm.
No, he's a god of destruction.
One thing that you would really need to add is he'd have to be sailing on a river of the dead.
He's a god of destruction.
Wait, you'd have to sail on a river of the dead. You mean the world ocean that's flooded and killed 80% of the population?
Yeah, like that.
He's the god of destruction.
I mean, one of the aspects of Ra was actually just like war and destruction.
One of the main things I liked in Captain was that Luffy being Luffy. Luffy's not gonna become y'all god, bro. He's not gonna become Sun God Nika. It's gonna be Luffy. And that's peak.
And why do those two things have to be separate? Why can't they be one and the same?
There's a philosophical odd view of if New World had all Nephilim's properties, his personality, his voice, his hair, how he acts, would that truly be New World?
That is a good question. However, a better way to ask this is if New World took the name of...
Is that what we're doing?
It would be more... Damn.
Is that what we're doing? Is that what we're doing here? We're doing the ship of Theseus?
Yeah, man. Luffy embodied all Nika's properties. It wouldn't be Luffy anymore. It would be Sun God Nika. We're not doing that.
No, because the thing is, it's not Luffy taking all of Nika's properties. It's Luffy's properties aligning with the idea of Nika. Luffy wasn't born to just get possessed by this entity that now everyone recognizes them as. No, he grew up, lived his life, and ended up being someone who could be referred to as the Sun God Nika. Call it fate, call it destiny, whatever you want. It's still Luffy. It's just now he has everything that he would need to be Nika. In this sense, you could say that Nika isn't a person per se. It's more of a title that someone, acquires by filling a certain condition. Kind of like the Sword and the Stone in Arthur.
You will never get Luffy saying,
I
am
God,
the Nika.
Wait. Luffy pulled the sword out of the stone. He took the Devil Fruit out of the box. Became a destined ruler, the will of D, the whole will of the king, blah, 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 yada, yada. And is going on to become the king of the pirates. Like the king of Camelot. Is Luffy King Arthur?
I mean, again, the whole point is...
Would that make the Straw Hat Pirates the Knights of the Round Table?
No, that would make the Grand Fleet the Knights of the Round Table, and they actually already encapsulate that mythology.
King Arthur is a woman.
So, if you actually take the time, like the different members of the Grand Fleet as well also represent like different mythologies and that to an extent, just like tweaked slightly. And so the
I think
whole
the Grand Fleet would be Chinese zodiacs.
Chinese zodiacs, specifically, why?
Rooster head.
Just because of the rooster?
No, I'm pretty sure there's more symbolism there. I just remember the rooster most prevalently.
Yo, I got a theory. Luffy, he frees a bunch of people. He gives speeches. He's respected and revered. Is Luffy Martin Luther King?
He's not the type to give speeches.
You want to prove that?
Nah, it's just my interpretation of the character. I don't think he's really, big on vocal motivation.
What if Atum?
Uh-huh.
So, okay. Nephilim, you know Atum.
Sounds like an Egyptian name.
What if he?
That is an Egyptian name. He is the afternoon.
He's not the afternoon, but he's associated with the god of the sun, Ra. He's the father of Ra, right? And associated with the evening sun.
He's evening. So the thing about Ra is an amnesiac god. He is one entity that's been split into three, representing the three faces of the sun. Morning, afternoon, evening, into his eventual battle at night.
I'm gonna stop you right there because you've just fucking done my job easier for me, right? You ready for this one? Atum is Monkey D. Dragon. The three aspects of him are the ASL trio. He's the father of Ra, the father of the sun. Right?
Mm-hmm.
His personality was split 3 times over, so Luffy's his biological son and he's the father of that. He adopts Sabo to have Sabo take on his specific mindset, right? But he was also cool with fucking Gold Roger, which is why he's known to quote Roger.
This would give him a relationship to Ace.
So Ace is the morning sun, Luffy's the sun, and Sabo's the evening sun.
Luffy would be the afternoon sun that shines the brightest kind of thing.
No, he'd be the main sun, because the main sun shines the brightest. The afternoon sun helps defend against the void. And I've got it up right here, right? The void being...
Yeah, the afternoon sun was the strongest aspect of Ra.
To be fair, I'm on Wiki. Wiki is going against you a bit here, but I'm not going to fight you on it, right? The reason why I say Sabo's the afternoon sun is because they're where is it? Autumn has chaotic and underworld connections and was overshadowed by his son Ra, becoming more prevalent in Old Kingdom and continuing to be worshipped until his son took over for him. Right?
Mm-hmm.
As the evening sun, he battles the night. The night there being the connection between how Blackbeard has been attacking him post-time skip and Sabo post-time skip, right?
Mm-hmm.
But also, the entire symbology is because Sun God is dead, the world is in an eternal night. Meaning by battling against the Celestial Dragons, he's battling against the night.
So the Celestial Dragons are night, and Blackbeard is the Snake of Chaos. Or the Chaos Snake, or whatever.
Both of them could be interchangeable, synonymous, or joined together. You know what I mean?
I mean, for that to work,
no, because he's also doing it with other mythologies as well, so it doesn't have to be an eidetic 1-to-1.
Yeah, I know it doesn't have to be 1-to-1. I was just thinking, like, for this specific line of thinking, would the ASL trio need to eventually have to sail together, kind of thing?
No, not necessarily.
Hmm. I'll take your word for it. I won't push back.
And say we don't get Luffy's mother, right?
We're
Mhm.
gonna get it. Trust me.
If
I know Oda.
it's just
I
hypothetically, if
don't
we
think
don't, right?
Luffy.
Atum was also married to Shu. Shu was one of the primordial Egyptians' gods, right? And was the god of light, peace, lions, air, and wind.
It's so insane that we might get Luffy versus the God Knights next chapter. Which year we're gonna see the mystery character get revealed. Luffy's looking for Shanks. We have a Shanks lookalike. Can put two and two together, man.
I don't think we'll learn about Luffy's mom until we see Luffy's mom.
I actually think what you're gonna end up finding is before Luffy gets there, because this chapter, where were they? They're still in the upper. They're still in the upper area, but Luffy and that's actually flown to the castle where they first came. Right?
They make it, man.
So, do you know who's probably going to be there to actually do something about it?
Please don't say kid. Oh my god. If you, oh my god, he's about to say kid.
Useless Captain Mid. And do you know what would make perfect sense with that?
Wow.
Wait. Why did you? I've never heard his name changed like that, and you threw me off.
You've never heard Useless Captain Mid?
I have not heard that. No.
Uh,
Why would you do that to him?
Hey, I didn't do it to him. I'm a kid fan. One of my best performing videos on YouTube is about how it was me saying when Kid was first introduced in Wano that he's going to skip the training that Luffy gets because he's already got that type of haki, and I made an ass of myself. Right?
You like Kid, but you just
He's underperforming.
call him. You know what?
He's not lying.
Which actually brings me to my other thing.
Did
either of you guys see my video on what the Kid Pirates are based on?
On what they're based
yeah,
on?
I saw it.
I mean,
I
what are you
saw
talking
it.
about?
Hang on. I saw the video. I registered it. I swiped past it because right after that video, there was a new Absolute Kyoshiism video.
Oh, so you didn't watch the video?
Do you have
No, I
multiple
did
videos on? I've seen a bit. I started seeing you talking about the band related or
Yep.
what they're related to.
Because their entire crew is based on rock songs. Like, their entire crew's epithet is based on rock and roll, right? That's why Kid's attacks are Punk Gibson, right? They're all based on rock, and that's why all of the members of his crew are named after different things associated with rock, right?
Yeah, I've seen the video. Man.
Right. So, the song I think they're specifically based on is the song by Talking Heads from 1977, right? Called Psycho Killer.
Cascade.
Fa fa fa. So the whole reason I made that connection, right, is because the song has 3 verses. The verse 1 is in relation to Kid, verse 2 is in relation to Killer, verse 3 is in relation to their third crewmate, their third most important crewmate, which I predict is going to be Loki.
I mean, that would give like the power. That would fill the power gap between Kid Law
Yep.
and
I
Luffy.
don't think that is a massive power gap, though. I don't think that symbolism
I
would
think
be
Loki
enough.
can definitely do it. Loki's strong. The God Knights try to recruit him, man.
Just
I definitely know.
So Nefelin, you haven't seen the video. Just hear this, right?
Yep.
The first verse. I can't seem to face up to the facts. I'm tense and nervous and I can't relax. I can't sleep because my bed's on fire. Don't touch me. I'm a real live wire. That's Kid.
I've heard this song before.
Pardon me?
I feel like I've heard this song before.
Yeah, it's one of the most famous rock songs. It's a super famous song, right? So, kid, I can't seem to face up the facts, right? I'm tense and nervous and I can't relax. I can't sleep because my bed's on fire. Don't touch me. I'm a live wire. Kid's abilities with electromagnetism. He's a live wire. His bed's on fire. No shit. Shanks literally burned down his fucking accommodation. Right? He's tense and nervous because people are always affronting to his dream and he just can't relax because he's got that like ADHD chaotic energy, right? And he can't seem to face up to the facts because he thinks he's the main character and he's not. Right? The second verse. This is from Killer's perspective, right? You start a conversation, you can't even finish it. You're talking a lot, but you're not saying anything. When I have nothing to say, my lips are sealed. Say something once, why say it again? Right? And Killer's name comes from this song, and Killer's laugh comes from this song, because the chorus is Psycho Killer, fa 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 fwa, fa fa fwa, fa fa fwa fa fwa, which is Killer's laugh. Right? After the smile. The fellow?
I'm missing
Following?
Alright.
I'm following.
I'm just making sure you're hearing it, right? So, him saying you start a conversation, you can't finish it. Remember how he's criticized Kid, right, for going into situations above what they can handle, right?
Yeah, it was a big contention up until he got punished for it in Wano.
He follows him in regardless, but Kid keeps biting off more than he can chew. So you start a conversation, you can't even finish it. You're talking a lot, you're not saying anything. Now this specifically, think of this in Wano. When I have nothing to say, my lips are sealed. Say something once, why say it again? Remember when he ate the smile and Kid was trying to goad him into telling him what was wrong and he just wouldn't talk? Quite literally, when he has nothing to say, he just shuts up. He doesn't say anything. Right? Now,
aside from laugh,
this is the final verse of the song. You ready for this one? And this is why I think this one relates specifically to Loki. And remember, Loki fits the visual aesthetic of rock and roll because he actually, if you didn't know, there's a specific type of, a specific style of rock based around Norse mythology, right? So listen to this. We are vain and we are blind. I hate people when they're not polite. That's it. What is Loki? Eyes are bandaged, can't see.
Do you mean Loki in the
In One Piece.
One Piece?
In One Piece, right? We are vain. He's vain. He thinks he's a god, right? We are blind, literally blindfolded, right? I hate people when they're not polite. The only times he's really spoken, unprompted, is when he's yelling at Luffy for not being polite.
I don't think this character had much impact on me when I first read One Piece.
Pardon me?
This character, I have only vague recollection of. I can't really say anything on that, but it does sound like it would fit.
Yeah. And like, mind you, could be completely wrong on this, right? The reason why I link it, though, is because, like we were saying, Kid's missing that next person on his crew. Loki fits the aesthetic, and also, more than anything, Loki also somewhat shares the name with Floki from Norse mythology, which is one of the greatest blacksmiths in all of Norse mythology. He's a blacksmith and a carpenter, right? Kid's currently missing one really crucial thing. He doesn't have a ship, right? Both Kid and Loki have a vendetta against Shanks, right? Their goals align. Loki seemingly fulfills the void of what Kid needs to get off this island. He fulfills the power gap, and he also fits the aesthetic of where the Kid pirates get their naming scheme from.
You mean the Elbaf giant Loki?
Yes.
Oh, I'm stupid.
Yeah.
I thought there was someone else.
No, like literally, the Loki from this chapter, right? I think he's gonna join the Kid Pirates. Fits the aesthetic.
That would be interesting. I don't know how they would fit him.
How that would fit him.
Yeah, like just like fitting him on a huge ship.
He's gonna make the
Unless
ship.
he's the. Would he be the helmsman then, or the shipwright?
He'd be the shipwright for the Kid Pirates.
Who would like sail a ship is able to accommodate him?
Mm. And
Like he would have to fill both roles.
no, he'd just be the shipwright for their crew, right? Because they've already got a helmsman, they've already got this, that, and the other, right? But the thing about that is, right, the reason that's super important is the Kid Pirates are missing one super important thing to be related to the Straw Hats at all right now. Do you know what it is?
What's that?
A ship made out of atom wood, where we just happen to be on an island where the Kid Pirates have lost their ship, and we have the Atom Tree.
This Atom Wood.
Atom wood is the strongest wood in the world of One Piece, which is what Yggdrasil's made of, which is what the the Thousand Sun is made of. All the top tiers have atom wood ships.
How did Frankie make the Thousand Sunny out of atom wood?
He bought the wood from Elbaf on the black market. Which also means there's a black market wood trade on Elbaf somewhere.
Wonderful to see that in the newer chapters.
I think it'll be definitely interesting to come up with the point. That being said, I hate to do this to you guys. We've been going for 2 hours. I need a small break, so I'm gonna end the live here, and I'll go live again a little bit later. Okay?
Cool. I was not here for any of those 2 hours.
It's all good. I'll be back on in a little bit because I gotta go for a bathroom break, to be completely honest.
Okay. I didn't know Australian speed.
I mean, we just photosynthesize it and then bottle it and send it to America and call it Foster's.
Only Australians, bro. So yeah.
Only Australians. Alrighty. So, this was chapter 1136 of the One Piece manga. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below and all that. Like I said before, if you haven't done so already, share the love, subscribe to the channel, follow me on TikTok, Blair. I'm all sorts of over the place here. So check out the link tree in the description or in the bio, right? It'll take you to my Twitter, my Twitch, my Discord, where you can join and talk anything anime and manga related, my YouTube and my TikTok. Follow me, subscribe, share all that love and all that good stuff. And until the next chapter of One Piece, or until the next video of mine you watch, whatever it is you're here for, thank you guys and girls for coming through. I couldn't do it without you. Nothing but love, nothing but respect. Peace. Have a damn good day, and yeah, goodbye.